If you're washing your car the way most people wash their car, you're making a massive mistake. I'm going to show y'all 7 things that are destroying your paint slowly without you even realizing it. And make sure y'all watch to the end because the 7th thing is absolutely the worst thing you can be doing for your paint. These aren't just beginner mistakes. I see detailers with years of experience doing these exact 7 things. Mistake number 1, washing in direct sunlight. Though this isn't avoidable every single time you're going to wash a car, you should definitely try to avoid it if it's possible. If it's not possible, you can do some simple things like washing one panel at a time, controlling where you're spraying your water, and what I usually do is try to dry right behind it. So I'll soap down one panel, I'll mitt one panel, I'll rinse one panel, and then I'll dry one panel, and then I'll move on to the next panel, obviously starting with the roof first. And I go around and I try to dry things as I'm going, even if I get a little bit of water onto another panel, and I just make my way around the vehicle. That's going to minimize a lot of the damage just in that itself. Another big option you have is the rinseless, waterless options. Those are fantastic. I mean, you still need to be out of direct sunlight if possible, but they do actually do less harm to the vehicle if they were to dry up. They're a little bit friendlier of a soap. So that's number 1. Number 2 is one that really gets me, and it's a controversial conversation within the detailing community. You guessed it, the one bucket. You can clean a car with only one bucket. Now you need to make sure that one bucket has a grit guard in it, but just in case something falls in the bucket. But the way people do it with one bucket without scratching their vehicle is they take usually about 4, 6, 8 microfibers, depending on the size of the vehicle, and they put them all in a clean bucket of soapy water, and then they clean one panel, and then that dirty microfiber never goes back in that soap bucket. It goes into a separate bucket for them to wash later, but then they grab a second microfiber out of the bucket, and that is going to be the one they use on the next panel. So now you're taking dirt off the vehicle without reintroducing it into the next thing that you're going to be wiping in the next area. That is going to minimize the scratches. Not foolproof to not scratch it, but it will minimize the potential damage. Most people are going to recommend using a 2-bucket system. What that means is a rinse bucket and a soap bucket, and you're going to wash your panel, you're going to put your mitt back down into your rinse bucket, not your wash bucket. You're going to rinse it off really well, get all the dirt you just took off the vehicle into the rinse bucket, then go back into the soap bucket, get soap, and go back to your wash. That is one of the most common ways to wash a vehicle. Now, some people will take it a step further and they will have a 3-bucket setup, and that's just a little bit more in depth, but it's, I think, overkill in most areas. But the biggest thing being, if you're going to use one bucket, the car cannot be obnoxiously dirty. If it is, do not use one bucket. You need to use 2 buckets at a minimum. All right. Number 3, this is one I hear all the time, and it drives me absolutely crazy, and that's using dish soap. For the love of whoever you worship, please stop washing your car with dish soap or laundry detergent, if you've ever tried that one too. They are going to strip every bit of protection off of your vehicle. So anything that is keeping your paint from getting damaged, which is what the whole point of this is, you're taking away every single time you wash that car with dishwash soap. Now, a lot of old school detailers, I've been doing this 23 years, and I know when I first started, this was very common to do. We would use dish soap to wash cars and prep for polishing because we want all that protection out of the way so that we can get straight to the work we're there to do. And dish soap was fantastic for stripping all that away. Now, for you ceramic coated customers, using dish soap is going to strip your hydrophobic layer. It's not going to strip your coating if you have a professional coating, but it will strip your hydrophobic layer. That's a simple fix. Contact your ceramic coat installer, whoever did that for you, and they'll be able to take care of that. But the hydrophobic layer is what everybody loves. That's what makes the water bead up and the dirt run right off. So stop using dish soap to wash your vehicle because it's just taking away everything that's there to protect your paint. So now that we've covered the wash process, let me talk about something people mess up after the wash: the drying process. Mistake number 4, using the wrong type of microfiber for the job. And I said microfiber specifically, not terry cloth, not washcloth, microfiber. You should be using microfiber on everything. That is the best towel to use in anything automotive detailing related. Anything. I don't care which one you bring up, that's going to be the best one. And not all microfibers are the same. There's different pile heights, there's different GSMs, there's all kinds, there's twisted loop and stuff like that. So each microfiber is going to do a specific job. It's like a tool in itself. What I personally recommend is head over to the Rag Company, and no, we're not sponsored by them. I just prefer to use all their stuff in my own detailing business. But I recommend my customers go to them because it's super, super user friendly. You don't have to know detailing terms or anything like that. You can select what type of work you're trying to buy a microfiber for, and they will show you nothing but the microfibers that work for that job. So not all microfibers are the same, but you need to make sure you're using a microfiber and using the correct microfiber. Okay, number 5. This one people skip because they just think it doesn't matter, but it definitely matters. And that's skipping the clay bar step. Now, should the clay bar be done on every single wash? No, because the clay bar, like dish soap, is going to strip away most protection on the vehicle. So you don't want a clay bar every single time. But if you're going to do any kind of major polishing, any kind of major sealants, especially ceramic coats, you need to be clay barring the vehicle beforehand. Any of those surface contaminants that are stuck to your paint, especially something that may be metal related that could get through your clear coat or etch or damage your paint, you don't want to trap that under the protection that you're putting down. So you want to use the clay bar to remove all the surface contaminants. This is going to help get the surface prepped for your protection, for your polishing. But I do want to throw this in there. There's different levels of clay bar. There's medium, there's light, there's heavy. If you use the heavy clay bar, or if your vehicle has a ton of surface contaminants on it, there's a high likelihood it's going to micromar the paint, which is going to require you to go back and polish unless you just don't care about that. You wanted the surface contaminants gone, in which case they're going to be gone, but you're going to see some remnants of the job. If you don't have heavy surface contaminants and you just want to do more of a preventative maintenance style, or if the car is in good shape and you're just prepping for polishing, we always recommend going for the lighter clay bar because that's going to help prevent that micro marring process from happening. It's just a little bit more sensitive to paint that may be already paint corrected or something that's just not completely damaged to begin with. Jumping straight into number 6, applying product to a dirty or wet surface. Wax over dirt equals locked in scratches. Any product that's applied on a wet surface is going to dilute and not bond properly, especially when it comes to ceramic. Ceramic is very, 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 very important that you get everything completely dry. You don't want anything running out of the moldings or anything like that while you're trying to ceramic, because that is going to prevent it from bonding correctly. So paint needs to be clean and dry before anything goes on it. You don't want to apply any protection over any dirt or any sort of contaminants. Like I said in the last step, this could be a bad contaminant. This could be some kind of metal related material, which could ultimately end up causing everything to get trapped under that protection and start to rust your panel. Congratulations for all y'all who stayed around for number 7. Here it is. The absolute hands down worst mistake you can make when trying to keep scratches out of your vehicle. And that is going to be drying with a bath towel, or oh my gosh, drying with paper towels. I see that happen at the gas station all the time. People taking the squeegees that are meant to clean your windshield and scrubbing their paint and then taking the brown paper towels and wiping it clean. That is just putting a ridiculous amount of scratches into your paint. Please, please stop drying with bath towels, with washcloths, with paper towels, with anything like that. You need to have a proper drying towel. Again, not sponsored, but the rag company's got you helped out. They have all kinds of drying towel options that are fantastic for your paint. The absolute worst one though, and my dad, I think I finally got him to stop using this thing, and that is the traditional chamois. I don't know, for the younger audience out there, y'all aren't gonna have a clue what I'm talking about. For the older people, y'all absolutely gonna know what I'm talking about. The old school chamois that whenever it would get dry, it would be hard as a freaking brick. And if you didn't wet it properly, you were just dragging dry, hard leather across the surface of your vehicle. It worked, but it would always leave water spots. So please, if you have that old school style chamois that gets hard whenever it dries, throw it in the trash. It's no good for your car. And I'm going to tell you why it's no good for your car. The paint on your car is different now. It's not the same as it was back in the 70s, 80s, even into the 90s. About the 80s to 90s is when they really started changing their clear coats. But clear coats are much softer now than they used to be, especially when you're talking about a single stage paint. That was a little bit more durable than what your modern day base clear is going to be. And so using that old school drying approach is just detrimental to new modern paint. It is absolutely going to scratch the crap out of it. Invest in a high quality drying towel. They're not that expensive. The one we personally use day in and day out is called the 1500. It's from the rag company. I believe it runs something like 30, 40 bucks, something like that. You can dry like 4 or 5 vehicles with it without having to dry it out or wring it out or anything. So that's why we use it. They have liquidator. They have all kinds of stuff that is much better than any of the old school approaches or bath towels or anything like that. So there y'all go. 7 mistakes that are slowly killing your paint. Hey, if this helped you out, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and the algorithm pick up our video. If y'all want me to go any deeper on any of these topics, like a full clay bar tutorial or the right microfiber for each job, let me know in the comment section. And make sure y'all are subscribed so you don't miss it.